it's crucial that the orphans court judge have some experience, because the orphans court judge is unique in one sense. All of you, of course, are familiar with how courts work. In civil courts and in criminal courts, the judge performs one function. That's to keep the trial moving. It's to rule on objections, rule on the admission of evidence. You've got two attorneys going at it, and the judge has to make sure that all the proper procedures are followed and so forth. And that, by the way, is why I think that whomever makes it should have a lot of experience at the Court of Common Pleas level. But there's a second function, and that function is the trier of fact. In civil cases and criminal cases, that's the jury. And the jury has to answer such questions, usually pretty simple, as guilty or not guilty, yes or no, liable or not liable. And if so, in a civil case, how much money might the injured person be entitled to? But in the orphans court, the judge not only has to perform the function of keeping the trial moving, everything that a judge normally does on the other side, but in addition, he is also the trier of fact. So he has to weigh the demeanor of the witnesses, determine who's telling the truth, make the determinations, and then he's got to decide. And it's not simple questions, yes or no, guilty or not. Take the case I've just given you. Does the child get put into placement? Yes or no? If so, what kind of placement? With a family member? Foster care? And then, what about the mother? Does the mother get treatment? What sort of treatment? Inpatient, outpatient? What's her DSM if she has a mental health history? What sort of visitation should she have with the child? Should it be supervised? That is, does she present such a danger to the child where the visitation should be supervised? How much contact should there be? On the one hand, with a young child, there should be as much contact as possible to maintain the bond between the parent and the child. Again, the initial goal is always to reunify. On the other hand, we're concerned about the safety of the child. When does the child go home? When is it safe to return the child? When is it safe to make the visitation out of a supervised setting, for example, and into the community? Those are all the types of issues that the orphans court judge has to deal with. So for that reason, I respectfully suggest it's not the same as your typical judge over on the civil or criminal side.